problem of activist judges. This is a problem that's been around for a long time. That in and of itself is not necessarily new. But the issue now seems to have reached new heights in ways literally that go beyond rulings from the bench. As I mentioned earlier, just this morning, a judge in Wisconsin was arrested for allegedly trying to help an illegal immigrant escape ICE agents in her own courtroom. Additionally, parts of Trump's agenda have been stalled due to rulings from federal judges, one after another after another. Have activist judges gone off the rail? Are they literally, purposefully, intentionally trying to slow down the Trump agenda? If so, what's the solution? Well, joining me now to discuss this, all of this is Congresswoman Harriet Hageman. She serves on the Judiciary Committee. She represents Wyoming. Congresswoman Hageman, welcome back to Washington Watch. Always great to have you.
Thank you, Jody. Great to be here.
Okay, so let's start with this Wisconsin judge. FBI Director Kash Patel literally tweeted today that this judge intentionally misdirected federal agents away from the subject. This is unbelievable.
That is my understanding, and it is a shocking development that you now have judges on the bench who are attempting to shield illegal aliens from being processed and being arrested by ICE. So it's not just a matter of turning a blind eye or saying we're a sanctuary city. It is my understanding that she intentionally acted to try to shield the illegal alien from federal officers. And I just find that to be a shocking development.
I do too. And, you know, it's not that this is one case by itself. I mean, also this week we had in New Mexico a judge who had to resign because an illegal alien was found to be living in his home. What in the world is happening right now in our judiciary?
So I think in those circumstances, what you're looking at is the appointment process or election process for those judges. We're getting very radical judges put on the bench, whether it is through an election process or an appointment, and every state is a little bit different. But I think that that's part of it, is that you just have radicals that are taking over at least a portion of the judiciary.
I think that certainly is it. I mean, there's no question we've been watching radicals appointed. But don't you think also that this has a political purpose to it all? I mean, we saw U.S. District Judge William Orrick deny the whole sanctuary funding issue this week.
I think there's absolutely a political component to it. These judges have made the decision that they are going to defy whatever agenda Donald Trump is attempting to pursue. They are blocking the will of the American public, and they are essentially acting as the gatekeeper, regardless of the legality of the decisions that he is making. When I look at the decisions and the nationwide injunctions that are coming out of these courts, one of the first things that strikes me is that clearly the plaintiffs in these cases are judicial shopping. They are forum shopping, which in and of itself is inappropriate to do. But what you have is a situation where they're going to judges that they know it doesn't even matter what the issue is. They're going to get an injunction because they are all in on it, if you will, to try to block President Trump, number one, from carrying forward his promise about securing our border and deporting criminally illegal aliens. They are going to attempt to stop any effort at shoring up our elections and pursuing election integrity. They are going to attempt to block and prevent him from carrying out the agenda that the American public voted for in November of last year.
Yeah, exactly. That is precisely what we're seeing. And I think your description of these judges acting as gatekeepers for their own political agenda and their political preference is a great description of what's happening. I wanted to play a clip for you. This is the city attorney for San Francisco, David Chu. Let me just play it and then get your response to it. This is amazing to me.
there are hundreds of cities around the country, hundreds of police chiefs that support sanctuary policies, which are about building trust between local law enforcement and immigrant communities. When you have that trust, immigrant victims and witnesses of crime will lead to working with police officers to make sure that criminals are arrested, that folks are put in jail, and our communities are safer.
Congresswoman, am I missing something? He seems to say to me that sanctuary cities are making America safer. I'm stunned by that.
I was stunned by what he just said, and I had not previously heard that clip. What I would say is it is exactly the opposite of what he's saying. The really sad part is that when we are not removing these criminal illegal aliens, their primary victims are the folks within that immigrant community. That's what's so stunning to me about this. When we hear about the 14-year-old girl that the Mayorkas administration released to a predator to be sex trafficked across the country, and this administration did nothing about it. When you talk about the 300,000 children that were lost by the Biden administration, and we know are being working in sweatshops or being sex trafficked. When you hear about these things and you realize that the people who are engaging in this behavior are the very criminal illegal aliens that the Trump administration is attempting to remove, and then you have somebody come along and say, oh no, it's better to leave these criminals within that community, that makes that community safer. And you think it isn't even possible to be that twisted in your thinking. It isn't even possible to have thought that through even the tiniest little bit. The very victims of these folks are the people within those immigrant communities. They want rid of these criminal illegal aliens. And what you have with these sanctuary cities and these leaders is they're saying, we're going to victimize you yet once again, because we're going to make dang sure that we are not removing the criminals among you, because there's a risk that they might be deported, and we're not going to allow that to happen. So we're going to make you live in this environment where there are known criminal illegal aliens, gang members, terrorists living there. And the sanctuary cities, the leaders of those communities are saying, we're not going to help you because of the Trump administration. It's absolutely horrific. It is a terrible policy. And it doesn't even take 5 seconds to realize all of the flaws in every single thing that he said.
A great point. Extremely well said. And I think it really ultimately just emboldens those who are here illegally as well. Let me ask you, there's a lot, and our time is slipping away, there's so many other court decisions slowing down Trump's agenda and so forth. What do these rulings tell you? I mean, are we just watching activist judges? Are they following the rule of law, or is there something else taking place here as we're discussing, suggesting perhaps political motivation?
So the problem with nationwide injunctions is that these district court judges who have limited jurisdiction are essentially acting as not only the president of the United States and usurping his role, but they're acting as a super Supreme Court. At least with the Supreme Court, you have to have 5 of the people. You have to convince 5 of the people as to the correctness of the argument and the position that you're taking. But in this circumstance, you have an activist federal district court judge out in the middle of California or in New York City or in Washington, D.C., and they are making decisions not for the people in front of them or the parties in front of them, but for the entire country. So you have one man or one woman who is deciding policy without these issues ever actually being fully investigated, fully vetted, fully analyzed, fully discussed. It's the example of what happened when they took the person down to El Salvador. You've got a judge saying, bring him back right now. Well, the Trump administration has a lot of information about the very kind of people that they are attempting to deport. They are addressing issues, everything from national security to international relations, to all of the things that have historically been well within the jurisdiction and venue of the president of the United States. And you're having federal district court judges say, no, I know better. And not only do I know better, I'm going to issue a nationwide injunction against you.
Thank you so much, Congressman Harriet Hageman of Wyoming. Always, always great to have you. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.